Hello, everyone. I'm Edith Wolek, and I'm joined today with Kimberly, and she's a relationship coach. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Edith. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I know that you're going to share a beautiful golden nuggets with our audience. And you are bringing so much value to our seminar.
Oh, thank you. I'm just very excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do now, and what does your brand stand for?
I am an expat who lives in France now. I made this huge leap to move to another country. And so it's been fascinating to see, like, living in another culture, how relationships work, because that is what I do. I work with women, high achieving women who in relationships, whether they're struggling in a relationship, in a marriage, or whether they've, given up on love and they're looking for love. So that is what I do. And living in another country has been absolutely fascinating to get to compare the two cultures on how that works. So, my brand is focused on reaching high achieving women who are struggling in their relationship. And to do that, my message is everybody can have love, and everybody can enjoy a beautiful, interconnected, interdependent relationship.
Beautiful. What are the values that are most important to you?
As a business owner, for me, it is all about connecting with clients. It's all about having a very strong message. It's all about showing up authentically, reaching out, being present, and being open to feedback that you get from clients and from potential clients. It's like recognizing when you are trying to offer something that is because of something you want to offer, or whether it's really serving your audience base. So it's really been important for me to actually get feedback from clients and from women that haven't worked with me yet. So I frequently will send out information asking, for what's going on in their lives, asking specific questions so that I have direction on how to best serve them.
Yes, it's showing up authentically. That's really important for a business owner. Tell us a little bit about like 3 pieces of advice of I know that you're solving a lot of problems and a lot of
thank you.
Different issues that women are having. Is there any one specific problem that you solved recently, and what steps did you take to solve it?
Excellent question. In your comment about solving problems, and specifically because I realize that your audience is really looking on how they're creating a business and how to show up in the business world. So as far as solving one specific problem, as it pertains to my clients, it is in a particular situation where it's helping them to understand when their relationship is not working. And it's really supporting them to see, like, the bits and pieces that are not working so that they can actually make a shift and get clarity about the relationship. For your audience, as far as like business aspects that are so important that have been supportive for me, is not to go into overwhelm. Like, you just ask a beautiful question, like, what is one specific thing? And for women that are entrepreneurs, especially if they're online, it's so easy to get overwhelmed with the possibilities of things that you can do. So getting really, really clear on who your audience is, who you're speaking to, and talking to that person like they are a friend, like you're having coffee with them or like you're meeting them, and addressing that specific issue without worrying that you're going to miss something or that you're not going to get it all. Being really, really intentional about the person that you would most want to have as a client, that you would most want to spend time with, and solving that problem has been key for me in business.
it's fantastic to hear that piece of advice. What are your values as a leader?
As a leader, for me, I think this is true regardless of who we are in whatever position we're in life. We think of leaders as people that, like presidents or lead huge corporations. And each and every one of us, your audience, these women that you're talking to, are all leaders. They are all leaders. They are going to impact dozens, hundreds of lives, whether they recognize it or not. So for me, one of the biggest qualities of leadership is, as I said earlier, is just to be completely authentic, to keep your commitments. When you decide to do something, follow it through, even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way that you want it to. And also to look for the lessons that happen along the way. So we assume if we set out to do something, if we have an intention, we make a declaration and we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't pan out exactly the way we thought it would, we get so attached to the outcome that we miss the most important things, which is sometimes we get to shift, sometimes we get to change, sometimes situations require that we look at them differently. So not being attached to the outcome and looking for the lesson underneath, and recognizing that we never, ever fail. You're always leading because someone's always watching you, whether you know it or not. And you never, ever fail if you look at life as either an opportunity, a success, or a lesson, which Nelson Mandela said years and years ago. And so I'm kind of thieving that from him, but it's absolutely true. That's been my experience.
Yes, you never fail. You just learn.
Exactly. And that's always an option. And so for me, I truly believe that when women embrace the fact that they are leading their families, they are leading their children, they are leading in the community, they are either in a position of enrolling other people in possibility and the dreams that they have, or they are enrolling themselves in not being able to do it. And so as that, like, we're all leading someone is looking up to us. So don't misconstrue the concept of leadership as meaning that you've got to have an army behind you. You're leading all the time and really showing up, believing in yourself authentically, being honest, not perfect, not trying to look good, but really truly coming from the heart. And thinking about the people that are looking at you, that are watching you.
Yes, and as a business owner, you get to acknowledge that you don't need to know everything about everything.
Exactly.
And you can delegate some of the, and we were talking about it earlier on, that you've taken on a big step in doing that. So can you tell us and the audience how to delegate responsibility?
Sure. So it's really interesting. I use two criteria when I am looking for outside resources or when I'm thinking about delegating something. How much time is it going to take me to learn it or manage it or master it? And number two, could that time be better spent somewhere else? So for me, you're absolutely right. So the only way that we grow as a business is like, once you get into this business, especially online, there's so many different facets. Like, I've had multiple businesses throughout my life, but they were always what we call brick and mortar businesses. There was an office that I went to. And it changes everything when you get into an online business, because the competition is now worldwide. So the world has become smaller. So, finding those people, finding your tribe, finding those people that will want to work with you, becomes a whole new thing. That's why the work that you do in branding is so, so critical. And one of the things that I delegate, because we talked about this, how many hours did I tell you I'd spent like looking at colors and looking at fonts? And now I'm an artist, so that's interesting to me. But if I looked at it realistically, at the amount of time that I spent trying to figure this out on my own, trying to master this, what I could have done that would have been far more lucrative and far less stressful and far more consistent for my audience, which is another big thing, because when we're constantly changing our branding, we're constantly changing our message, like, people can't find us, like, we become sort of uncertain. So for delegation, it's like, Is it something you enjoy that you can manage, that you can master? How long is that going to take you? Could you be spending your time in your strengths, in the things you're good at, that would actually grow your business more? And then it's a process of, of just taking that step. It's not a mistake. Like, hire someone, like, reach out to experts in their field. And that's what we do as women, as business owners, we connect. So what better way to support another business owner in an area that you're not an expert in? Let that expert do that, and then increase your own business. And then you can give back to them. They can give back to you. So delegation for me, hiring outside resources, has always been a win-win.
Wow. That's mind-blowing, because a lot of small business owners feel like, oh, we can't afford to invest into new business, into helping and supporting other businesses.
Right.
But that's the next step. That's the next step for us to grow and delegate those tasks that we don't know about.
You mentioned something, and not to interrupt, but you mentioned something about they think they can't afford it. So here's the way to look at your business. In order to create a business that is successful, it requires clients, it requires an audience, it requires someone who is interested in what you're offering, your products or your services. You can grow that organically, and that's beautiful. It's a very lengthy process. So when you're talking about cost, you can either invest the cost of time and the patience it takes to, organically grow your audience, which could be, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, you don't know. It depends. That means you get to show up on all of the social media platforms. That means you have to have a strong message. That means you have to have your branding down. That means you have to have everything in place and consistently do that message. So it's a time cost. Or you decide what you're willing to invest financially in hiring other business owners so that it becomes a win-win. Because when you say I can't afford it, in reality, it's going to cost you one way or another.
Yeah.
It's either going to take you longer to get your business going, or you get to invest in, what is the most supportive for you to get your business going, and to create a network and support other business owners.
And every single step is a choice. I heard somebody say this, that you are going to price your services in accordance to how much you are willing to invest in yourself. And this opened my mind to letting other people know that, because if you don't invest in yourself, you might not see that.
I have this great little story that I think supports that. So we go into business because we have a dream, we have a goal, we have a desire, we have something we want to share. And we kind of, at least me, I'll speak for myself, I kind of go into this thing like, oh yeah, I'm good at this and I feel called to this. And so I'm just going to show up and create my website and everything's going to magically happen. Sort of like the way we look at relationships, ironically. But the truth is, it is how much we value what we do. It comes back to that. And there's this little story, like Pablo Picasso, the artist, was in a restaurant, and this woman sitting at a table saw him. And you may know this story. And they took a napkin over to him and they asked him to sign it. And he did a little thing. And he looked at him and said, I think that'll be like $5,000, $10,000. She's like, all you did was a doodle on a napkin. It took you 5 minutes. And he said, no, madam, this took me a lifetime. And so we invest in accordance with what we have invested in our beliefs about our self-worth and our beliefs about what we're offering. And it's scary. I know it's scary, but we price I used to think women were so like, who do they think they are that they're offering like $10,000 packages? And the reality is we aren't addressing someone to change time for money. We're addressing a problem or a potential or a situation. And if you can get that person, support that person to get to their dream, like, what is that worth? Like, what is that worth? So anyway, I love the story about Picasso. No, man, that took me a lifetime.
Yes, and that's what it takes. It takes a lifetime to understand the solution to the problem that other people have, whether that's, relationship, whether that's, with your children,
Yes.
health, branding, any other problem. So it takes a lot of time to learn and create a product that is understandable.
Yes.
And create a shortcut to not solving your problem in the next lifetime. You create a bridge that you often probably hear, bridging the gap for your customer.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about, we've known each other for a while, so we know, a little bit about the investment. But if you think about how many years you invested in learning your skills and your talents and developing that. And I have a lifetime of experience in working in relationships, some from not a great place and some from like successes. And so it's just sort of like, if you think about what's your life's value, what you're putting into it. Like, you didn't just pop up one day and go, hey, I'm going to start this business. There was a reason for it. There was a reason that you felt called to it. There was a reason you felt led to do it. And if you look back, it probably is because you've spent a lifetime learning the skills that you're presenting this solution to someone else. So don't undervalue that. Like, don't undervalue yourself. Don't think, and you said something earlier, I want to bring that back around about, we don't have to be experts. No, sometimes we think we have to absolutely know all the answers, have all the solutions. And in reality, what we're doing is we're lighting the way, as you said, bridging the gap for someone that is, steps behind us. We do not have to be Oprah Winfrey to know how to create a business. In other words, like, life is part of that journey. So we're going to learn more. We're going to get better at what we're doing. We get to be steps ahead of our potential client with a solution for the problems that they're facing. And that's really where it starts.
I was about to ask for your final thoughts.
Et voila.
You have a gift to give to our audience, I assume. I shouldn't assume that, but
yes, of course. I have tons of gifts to give to the audience. I'm actually going to give like one of my favorites. And of course, because I'm in relationships, this, may or may not be applicable for women, but it's called 5 Steps to Rediscovering You. So it really is all about 5 basic principles that women lose sight of when they're trying to start a business, when they have a family, or after they get married, and about how they get so wrapped up in caring for others or thinking they have to be all things to all people, that they totally lose sight of like what brings them joy. So this is just it's a simple primer to take them back into 5 things that are so key. If they reintroduce them into their life, they will have more clarity about everything in their life, not just their relationship, but about their business, about everything. So I'm thrilled to offer that to your audience.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for your time and for your generosity and for being present and open to this opportunity and giving wonderful supportive advice to our audience and myself.
Oh, I love it. I thank you for allowing me to be here. I just want to say last words, just do it. Just do it. You feel it in your heart. Just do it. You'll figure it out. Just dive in.
Yes. Yes. The universe will create the next step for you.
When you say yes, the universe says yes. Yes.
Yeah. say yes to everything.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much and have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.